RFK. So his running mate, Nicole Shanahan, made an announcement during an interview, and this has kind of gone viral on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, yes. This has kind of gone viral there because some of the RFK supporters are not happy about what they heard here with this message. But if this happens, I hate to say it again, guys, but this will be another I told you so moment because I had a feeling this was going in that direction. Notori calls it. Word on the Twitter streets is that RFK may endorse Donald Trump tonight on Fox News. I'm not surprised because most of his supporters were Donald Trump supporters. Child, let's get into this clip here. Nicole Shanahan, she had an interview. And there is something that she said here about the two options that the RFK Jr. campaign is looking at. And for the newbies who are not aware, just to reiterate, I am not an RFK supporter. I covered his campaign announcement on the ground when he was here in Boston, but I am not supporting him. I am supporting Jill Stein. Got to make that very clear. Again, I'm not supporting anyone who supports genocide or is pro-Israel, period. Let's get into what she said here that's causing people to be a little upset.
What my gut tells me right now is that we just have to keep being honest. I got to just keep being honest. I got to keep focusing on what matters the most outside of party lines. I need to focus on a vision that goes beyond November. And if that means that we stay in, and, you know, there's benefits to staying in. If we get over 5% of the vote, we actually establish ourselves as a party. 71% of Americans want a strong third party with a real shot at winning. There's even public funds available if we get over 5% of the vote. So we could get, I think it's like $13.5 million in public funds to keep the party going. And that's, you know, that's worth something. That means that we can position for a real third party election in 2028 where we don't have to go around and spend tens of millions of dollars on ballot access, which means that we can spend all of that time and money campaigning.
To add a little bit of tidbit here for those who are not aware, the DNC has definitely hit RFK Jr.'s campaign incredibly hard. If you watch the full interview, one of the things that she mentions here is that the Democratic Party has tried to do everything they can to remove them off the ballot. And they said it's all coming from the Democratic Party. It's not coming from the Republican Party. And I'm assuming that's probably because RFK has some former Trump supporters that are a part of, you know, his coalition. But she said that it's been primarily the Democratic Party that have created PACs against them. RFK Jr. has been taken off the ballot in New York. I believe he was the only third party / independent candidate to get on the ballot in New York. And now he has been removed. They're saying that that's not his primary residence, etc. There's a whole story about that. But there have been heavy attacks on his campaign, independent campaign. For those who are not aware, RFK Jr. was running in the Democratic Party. And then the DNC said that there will not be Democrat primary debates, which I disagreed with. That should have happened. Okay, that should have happened. But then going from there, I think he tried to stick it out as long as he could. And then there was word that he would not be allowed to be on the ballot in some states, even running as a Democrat. So he broke from the Democratic Party and decided to run as an independent. And he had spent a really uphill battle since then. But they have gathered all the signature requirements that they need to be on the ballot in every state. That being said, this campaign has spent a lot of money. And from what I read, there were articles that said the campaign is now in the hole because of all the money. Again, you have to understand, because he was able to get all of those signatures in every state like that because his campaign did have a lot of money. So everyone needs to understand that. And she invested millions of her own money to help out this campaign. So why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because no one makes that type of investment if they don't expect it to go somewhere. So if it looks like this is not going to go somewhere, what happens next? She's going to tell you.
So, you know, there's two options that we're looking at. And One is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump, and you know, we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision. Not easy.
Clearly.
Yeah, not an easy decision.
So it hasn't been announced that RFK is going to walk away and join with Donald Trump. I'm going to try to stay clued in here with the news in the background to see if that happens tonight while we're live, and we can kind of jump on that as well. But there were several RFK supporters that were upset that they're even considering that opportunity, which is what I had predicted would happen. I believe I said this a couple of months ago, that I predicted that RFK Jr. would drop out of the race. And I made that prediction based on two reasons. Number one, the campaign was blowing through money, and that was something I was keeping up with throughout the campaign, how much money they were spending. And I don't know if she's crying pineapple justice. I don't know. She looks like she's feeling some kind of way. I don't know if it's a tear or not, but like I said, she invested millions of her dollars into this campaign. And it's one thing if like you invest like maybe, I invested $5,000, which I can't even do that. But let's say you invested $5,000. That's one thing, but she invested millions of dollars into this. So there's that. But I made the prediction because the campaign was blowing through money. So that's usually the first sign. When you run out of money, you're probably going to drop out. There's that. And then there were the constant back and forth conversations that RFK Jr. was having with the Trump team behind the scenes. And that in connection with the Libertarian Party, him not securing the official nomination of the Libertarian Party, which would have put him on the ballot in all of these states. So I did say this months ago, I predicted that he would end up dropping out. Not sure exactly who he would have endorsed at that point in time, but if what Notori is saying is true, and if what Nicole Shanahan is saying here is true as a possibility, it sounds like it could be heading in that direction, that he would endorse Donald Trump. And he was offered a position along with the Trump team. So I could see him taking that option, because Nicole Shanahan held the purse here, right? What do they say? Oftentimes the person who holds the purse is the one who's making these decisions. So Nicole Shanahan held the purse here. So I could see her saying, look, I didn't invest all this money into this project for it to go nowhere. So it needs to go somewhere. But people are not happy, fam. I mean, if you look at the comments, can I show you some of the comments? Let's see. The real truther said it was always a scam. I'm sorry to those who never listened to me. You got played. Pravir says, I hope they go with option 2. The race seems to be tight and Trump will need all the help he can get. Plus RFK Jr. as head of the FDA or on a cabinet position would be a huge plus for the country. This guy says the smart move is to join forces with Trump. Yeah. This one right here. Tiana, you'll lose your base. People support Kennedy's Shanahan ticket because it's not Trump or Harris. People need a third option. And if Harris does win because of it, hopefully it'll be a lesson to the GOP that it's time to break from Donald Trump. I think he could lose a part of his base, but I also think that from conversations that I've heard from people that are RFK supporters, some of them have told me to my face, not on this live stream, not on video, but some of them have told me to my face that if RFK were to drop out, they would be supporting Donald Trump. So I think that him dropping out and jumping into Trump's, camp or whatever, that would probably help Donald Trump in the polls, unless something else happens. But I see it going in that direction. And speaking of that, Don Lemon, I want to give a shout out to Don Lemon here, because he's on the street asking people who they would support. And I want you guys to see this. Again, Don Lemon, he got fired from CNN. He still is kind of corporate media with his YouTube show, but he is doing some different things. And I did like the fact that he's just going around the country asking people who they're going to vote for. I want you to listen to this if this shows you guys a sign, because again, the polls are one thing, but you need to talk to the people on the street.
How are you feeling about the election?
I'm going for Trump. I feel like every time they don't want somebody who is good for us to win, they throw somebody black in our face thinking that's going to like make us vote for the black person.
I voted for Obama because he was black. I don't want to vote for her because she's the first black woman to run for president or to win.
I don't vote.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I want Donald Trump.
Why do you apologize?
Well, I know nobody likes him, but we had good times with Donald Trump.
I'm running for Trump, so.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why?
Yeah. I don't know. I just always been a fan of his, so that's what I'm running for.
I used to be against Trump. I used to live in Virginia. I saw the bad side of it, but really moving to Cleveland, I saw the other side of it.
I'm supporting Trump.
You are. Because?
Because it has to change.
Yeah.
It has to change, and now I vote more for what fits me better as a person, rather than voting for the black person or voting for the first woman. So
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
I think they say she phony and fake, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm like Trump saying, what are you, So I'm not feeling her. People get mad about it, I'm just not feeling her.
I don't like her the way she speaks, the giddiness, the laughing. Everything's a joke, and it's not a joke. We're in trouble.
I'm going for Trump. Kamala was on Biden's team, and I don't like Biden. Gas wasn't this high when Trump was our president. Food wasn't this high. I'm going for Trump.
So if that is an indicator, again, I think you guys need to see it's one thing to look at the polls. It's another thing to talk to people on the street. Most of those people that he spoke to probably weren't polled at all. So you always got to keep that in mind. Remember, Donald Trump was losing to Hillary Clinton in the polls, but Donald Trump still beat Hillary Clinton, even though she won the popular vote because he was able to win in the Rust Belt.